Mythos leaks into the wild, the end of an era at Apple, Kaspersky uncovers worrying iOS exploits, MAGA Maiden is a Mumbai medical student, and Chinese AI fights back. All this in this week's tech column by Netpublic. Hello, I'm Vishnu K. Mahmood.
Hi, I'm Nur Qadir here.
And we're closing out April of 2026, and the tech landscape is not just shifting, it's undergoing a total regime change. This week, the forbidden model is out in the wild. The house that Jobs built gets a new architect. And we look how an Indian medical student turns a generic AI prompt into a profitable political influence machine. But our main story today, the American Great Wall of Tech is stagnating, with Chinese AI not just catching up, it's starting to dictate the pace. Let's dive in. Newsbyte 1. Anthropic's Mythos leaks into the wild? The Cloud Mythos preview, dubbed by Anthropic as the most dangerous AI model ever built that's capable of identifying and exploiting vulnerabilities in every major operating system, is no longer under lock and key. Reports surfaced last week that unauthorized users have accessed Anthropic's Mythos model on the same day it was announced 2 weeks ago. We don't have details of this yet, but this is yet another security issue from Anthropic just within the past 2 months alone. There was that Cloud Code proprietary leak in April where they accidentally released 500 lines of proprietary source code for its cloud code system. There was an unsecured data trove that had details of an unreleased AI model with other data that was in an unsecured data storage, as well as other unintentional internal data exposure that left internal data, images, PDFs. All of these are significant security lapses. So how can we trust a company that builds the most dangerous AI model ever built if they can't secure their own servers? Kadri, what do you think?
Well, actually, this is not new, yeah, because several years ago, another tech cybersecurity company has also get breached and also get hacked. Yeah, the bad actors always find a way to be the one that can hack. That's what called the most secure and weak. And then the Anthropic came in. That is the most dangerous solution for the cybersecurity. That's why it's like a honeypot that makes the bees coming around. Well, again, it's a cat and mouse things when it comes to cybersecurity. Bad actors will always find a way how to penetrate or exploit the vulnerabilities of security systems, right?
I mean, basically, like, okay, security isn't 100%, but still, I mean, like, if you're going to promote this AI model that says, hey, it's going to find everything, it'll find all of the vulnerabilities and exploits that's in your system. Did they use it on their own systems?
Yeah, for sure, of course. Should be, and not using the others, maybe. But again, like what you said, it's not always, and it's not forever like 100% bulletproof security systems, right? This is just man-made, so it's coded. So there is always a hole that can be exploited. And also in the other sides, the bad actors also have some weakness as well. So they are both are not perfect lah.
I think this highlights the importance of should I say traditional security protocols that still need to be used. It's you still have to follow those processes, all of the training for all the people. It's very, very important. I mean, all of this is basically all showcases how small scale threat actors can now use these tools to basically be as powerful as nation states now. So what should companies now do to protect themselves?
Yeah, first thing is not always rely on the systems. And the second thing is there's always we have to have the human behind the security wall in order to make sure whether this is like a false alarm. There is someone who need to uh, always check and make sure the system is running. Also, make sure the threat is real. That's the most important thing. How to the company to react to the security breach is how the most important thing.
Okay, so on to Newsbyte number 2, the end of the Cook era at Apple. After 15 years of unprecedented growth, Tim Cook is stepping down as CEO of Apple, handing the reins of John Ternus, VP of Hardware Engineering. And this is an interesting time because this basically came out of nowhere. And we were thinking that since Apple is doing a pretty good job, why the change?
So Tim Cook has a great reputation, yeah, with his leadership. So he launched the Apple Watch and also the earbuds and also made the tablet cool again. And he also gained some big revenue from the services like the Apple Music and also the Apple TV. There's some good, great series in Apple TVs. Uh, it changed how people use the Apple as well with these ecosystems, yeah. And also, that the under his leadership, the valuation growing so big. I think Apple is the first one that gets $1 trillion valuation. I think John Turner's make a step into the different age of digital and technology.
It's kind of unfair. Tim Cook has always been compared to Steve Jobs, the visionary of Apple, the one who brought it back from the brink of death. But Tim Cook has built up Apple from $349 billion when he took over from Steve Jobs to like $4 trillion plus today. And that's nothing to sneeze at. Apple's services segment generates more revenue in a single quarter than OpenAI generates right now in an entire year. So that says something. Where does Apple go from here? Now they've got a hardware guy who's now the CEO. What do you think is gonna? What do you where do you think Apple's going to go?
As we enter the AI era, I hope Apple also catching up on this, not just only renting the AI from the Googles. Maybe they will have something else, something related to the hardware because Ternas is a hardware guy. And also because Apple, yeah, as long as people still using iPhone, the mobile phone, Apple will still be there. But also we need to remember that OpenAI also collaborating with Johnny Ives, and we don't have any update yet. I think it's about like years ago, but and also Meta is launching the AI glasses, and it's gonna be tough competition in the hardware in this AI hardware. So I think it's time for the Apple to move forward and put the real AI. I mean their AI or Gemini's AI inside it, but make something new. Again, if OpenAI and Johnny Ive's collaboration is only another AI glasses, I will be disappointed. So if Apple going to launch this new Apple's iPhones next year with the AI on it, I also will be disappointed. We need something new.
Well, let's not forget, Apple has the hardware, they have the software, and they have enough money to finance their own chips. So who knows? We know, and actually, they already have their own chips. So who knows what's going to happen? What is John Ternus going to offer us? I'm very curious in seeing that. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go to Newsbyte number 3. Newsbyte 3. Kaspersky's uncovered leak state exploits. Kaspersky has sounded the alarm on 2 iOS exploits, Dark Sword and Karuna, that are being used in mass attacks. These tools bear the hallmarks of state-level intelligence leaks. They allow for total device takeover without user interaction. Basically, it's a zero-click. Exploit. Kodri, what does that mean?
Usually the attack is triggered by a click. If we have this laptop or mobile phone, we click on something and then we accidentally download something. But zero click means the victims doing nothing, not any click at all. So what happens is when the victim lands on the designated website, which is actually a legitimate website, then it automatically injects the malware. Victims doesn't have to do anything, so the malware injected itself into the mobile phones. And right now, the victims of this malware is the iOS, which is iPhones.
I think the good thing is that one of them, I think Dark's World, it only lives on the device's RAM, so it's not into the system, and you can get rid of it if you reboot or you restart the phone. But still, before that happens, they can suck out a lot of data.
Yeah,
And
yeah. They suck some photos and passwords, of course. Yeah.
yeah, but reports state that this software potentially came from state-affiliated companies because the quality of the code points to this. It's not a hodgepodge of Frankenstein parts put together. It's a uniformly engineered exploits that somehow managed to leak into the hands of cybercrime gangs. So, but it should be noted that this only affects iOS 18, which is, I think, the previous iOS before iOS 26, which is now Apple's changed the naming system to denote the year. So anybody in the old iOS 18 should be very, very careful and should probably upgrade and update any patches that Apple will soon have out or already have. So this is to keep in mind, but this is something that's very, 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 very big.
And also remember, this is also has this function to drain the crypto. So it's not only sucking the data or function as a spy tool. Yeah, it collects money as well, the digital money. Yeah. Although it's only been found in Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Malaysia, but everybody should be careful with this. So iPhone users, you need to make sure in this don't go to this some random websites, and also make sure you have to just restart every day. Are you restarting your phone every day, Fish?
No, I don't have a Windows phone.
Windows Phone?
Remember the old days of Windows 95? If you have a problem, restart. Turn it off, turn on again. Yes, those are the days. I have Smite. I don't have to restart my computer.
And now, frankly, only restarting my phone when the battery is dry.
Yep. Okay, so on to Newsbyte 4. The MAGA Maiden was actually from a Mumbai medical school.
That's
Wired.com.
fun. This is fun.
I just can't believe it, but still, Wired.com reports that an Indian medical student has admitted to being the face behind Emily Hart, a viral MAGA influencer. According to the report, he said he used Gemini to find out what can he do to make money, and according to him, Gemini suggested making a hot girl persona and targeting the MAGA, the Make America Great Again crowd as a audience. So,
Yeah, this is funny, man.
what can I say? What can I say about this?
Tech world is never been this funny since like I've been around in 25 years. This is the best.
I mean, we know that you can use AI. We know that you can create. We know that you can create personas. You can create images and now video to do whatever. But people have actually taken it to the next step. They go onto Instagram, FanView, OnlyFans, and it is a very capitalistic endeavor. No one is being well. I was about to say no one's a victim here because everybody's it's a capitalistic endeavor, but there's like an underlying lie underneath it. But this also shows how technology has basically equalized everything. This is an Indian medical student who's never been to America yet knows enough about American culture, American society, American politics, its needs, its demands to create something that is so unique that people were actually willing to pay for it. And I mean, yeah, he got caught in the. I mean, I would love to know how Wired found him, but yeah, he got caught in the end. But still, this basically means what the dead internet theory is. It's now a business model.
Yeah, it's only take he mentioned only take like 30 to 50 minutes a day and gain good money. I mean, he's in India. Of course, dollar is a good money for India's, right? It's also give some example that you can get the money from online, but this is, I don't know, is it a fraud or is it a scam? Scam is maybe yes, yeah, but yeah, I don't think it's really a fraud, yeah. But many people fell into that.
Well, we had no details how much money he made, which school he's from. Like a lot of these details are like kept
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
very, very vague because this guy wants to go to
yeah.
America. He wants to, after his medical school, he wants to go to the US. So, of course, being well known would probably deep six his visa aspirations. But I mean, like, basically, there's a lot of people are doing this now. So, it's capitalism. But I don't know. There are some ethical lines that, I don't know. For me,
Yeah.
it's a bit wonky.
It also like what you said, AI slop works, yeah. So we always rejecting the AI slop and also make fun of the AI slop, but somehow in the other parts of the world, America, they accept it and even pay the money for that. So I
So,
guess AI slop will still always there. I think forever.
interesting business model, but I'm not sure if I want to copy it. So there you go.
Yeah, you don't have to make these like this one lah, but I think we can. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. I changed my mind. Don't do it.
And there you have it. That's the end of the news bites. So now on to the main topic. China strikes back. For years, the narrative was that China was 2 years or more behind the West in AI. But as of April 2026, that narrative is out of here. DeepSeek has launched version 4. Moonshot AI has launched Kimi 2.6. And they're pretty good. They're not just building a smart AI, but they're building swarms to solve complex engineering tasks cheaper than GPT-5. And yet, the US government has claimed that Chinese AI companies have been stealing through their distilling of the AI from Anthropic and OpenAI. In addition to that, Huawei has announced that they're introducing a new token service specifically for the Asia Pacific region, where basically they're offering low latency AI infrastructure without the political baggage of AI of US export controls to become the preferred partner for the emerging markets, which basically means they're partnering with a lot of the open source models from Alibaba, from DeepSeek, and from Moonshot AI, and they're hosting it within the Asia Pacific, within their own servers, using a MAAS, a model as a service. So while the West is focusing on building up, spending a lot of money on building a closed system, Chinese AI companies are focusing on more open models and partnering with hardware, like with Huawei. So, where do you think this is going to go?
Yeah, I think China is more realistic than the US. If the US want to put the data centers in space, while China want to put the data center closer to the users. Yeah, because there are some regions that not been touched in data center terms. Yeah, I think so many regions hasn't been touched by the OpenAI, by the Anthropic. Google has already been there everywhere, but China is quite aggressive. So we see so many publication or media writing about the US centric AI, but yeah, China is doing their job and doing their moves effectively.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say that the Chinese models and the French models, and actually now some Indian models are also coming out as well, using open source as a business model is actually very helping because it basically allows more people to download the models, build their
Yeah.
own AI platforms using open source technology, compared to a central, which is kind of ironic, compared to a centralized closed model from the US, which is known for its freedom, close a closed model that is proprietary and you have to pay for it. I mean, the one thing that I remember what Sam Altman had once said, they're thinking about capturing the market for intelligence, and people will pay us for that. So basically, you suck up knowledge of man from the internet, you download it all, and you rent it out to people. That also basically means that people won't have the intelligence or they won't have the knowledge unless you pay them, when in reality it should be, should I say it, free, because that's how people regain knowledge, regain experience, and move forward. You don't want to have to pay somebody rent just for that knowledge.
And also with the trend of data sovereignty, yeah, the Chinese AI also put some effort to make that happen as well. Yeah, because I think at this time, I think it's not about the US AI centric and Chinese AI centric. It's about the closed end versus the open models. Yeah. And also the companies who embrace the data sovereignty, and also the countries, yeah, China open their arms and come to me. We have these open models for you. And also they're not bad, yeah. The AIs from China are not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's, one could say, is it distilled, stolen from the West, or is it like rebuilt, remade? I think overall, AI is a tool, and it doesn't matter if it comes from the West or comes from the East or comes from the South,
Middle.
the middle. The most important thing is that how can it help mankind? Is it because, like, so far from what we see is like the one thing that we always see from like Anthropic and OpenAI, it's all about valuation, it's all about investment, it's all about data centers, which is a bit more about AI hype and valuation. While so far that we see from China is focused more on like what, collaborative utility. It just seems that Anthropic and OpenAI are focusing more on the hype, on the valuation, on the investments, on the data centers, while China is focusing more on the collaborative utility of it, how they can create the industrial infrastructure for AI a bit more locally within the Asia Pacific, like Huawei has just done. So, which one will be the right one? I mean, like, there's so much hype around that, but I think that should and when the AI bubble collapses, it's going to deflate slowly, not a big collapse, but it'll deflate slowly. That's when we'll see where the cards will lie. Who's going to bet on a centralized proprietary model, and who's going to bet on their own open source model that they will manage themselves? Because now, as we said before, the rate limits and the costs for using the closed model for like Anthropic or OpenAI is suddenly becoming more expensive. So suddenly you're reaching your $20 minimum in 20 minutes. So who knows? Where is it going to land?
So China is playing different game with the US. The China offers the token price lower, of course. That's their advantage. And also, if we spend the tokens for the cloud, it will drain in a month. Maybe with the same budget, it can last for 6 months or a year, maybe. And also regarding the AI bubble, because China doesn't care about the valuation, right? AI bubble only happen if the valuation fail. So if the AI bubble bursts, so China come to the rescue.
Yeah. And in the end, we don't know who's going to win. Is it going to be the Americans or the Chinese or the French or the Indians? And in the end of the day, also, benchmarks, do they really represent what the AI can do for us? So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we have to really do our research carefully and see which model works for us, which business model works for us, and then go from there. Because, like, I'm not sure though those benchmarks would reflect the actual reality.
Yeah, I also don't recommend to for the user to use the benchmark as the benchmark. But what the important thing is, play around, experiment with the AI, and also make sure your ID comes to reality with the AI used.
And there you have it. That's all for now. The tools are getting sharper, the leaders are changing, and the geography of power is moving east. We'll be back next week with the latest on how these shifts will affect your daily digital life. And this is Tech Column. I'm Vishnu K. Mahmood.
Nur Kodri, the human.
Stay curious.